India houses just over 1 billion people and counting, and that is just back in the motherland. Adding in those of Indian descent that live all around the world takes that number to an estimated 1.34 billion. That's about 18% of the entire world's population. It would follow that some media in the West might be influenced by the number of Indians here, and of course we've had movies like Slumdog Millionaire and Life of Pi become international hits, but these projects are the rare exception, not the rule. This isn't just about India, though. There are thousands of cultures that make up the foundation of the United States of America, and the foundation of all Western countries. Representation is important. It's important to kids, it's important to adults. It is important to see people who look like us saving the day, solving mysteries, finding love, and making discoveries. Let's start by taking a look at all the games in my Steam library that feature Indian protagonists. 18% of the world's population, right? So let's see... Alright, I'm saying there's not. It is just the one. Far Cry 4. Doing a little digging, I uncovered Unrest, which is an indie management RPG, I believe, and an upcoming action RPG called Raji. So that takes us to 3. So let's talk about Far Cry 4. Ubisoft's open-world adventure shooter is set in Kirat, a fictionalized version of Kashmir, the disputed territory between India and Pakistan. Like all real people of the real Indian subcontinent, though, we're all of one race. The citizens of Kirat are, for all intents and purposes, Indian. The protagonist, Ajay Ghale, grew up in the United States of America. He never knew his father or his home country, and he grew up only knowing that his dad was a war hero for the resistance back in Kirat. Although born outside US borders, he is an American citizen, and at 26 years old, he returns to the homeland for the first time with his mother's ashes. He intends to spread them to the waters of Kirat, much as Indians do with the Ganges River in real life. This was just the first of many examples of something that I understood on a spiritual level, because one day I will do the same thing for my parents' ashes. When I found out that I'd finally be playing as a brown man, and an American man of Indian heritage at that, I was unbelievably excited. There were no Indian superheroes when I grew up, and to this day they're still few and far between. Almost every Indian side character featured in anything I watched or read growing up was just that. It was a side character. They are usually relegated to be the smart one, or the computer guy, or just a doctor. Building characters off stereotypes only breeds them further. This was my first opportunity ever to see what Western media would look like featuring an Indian person as an action hero, and I got to live in it. Visiting a fictionalized version of my home country was astonishing. I've only been to India once, but many of the landmarks in Kirat were tangentially familiar to me. When I saw my own character's arms in the first-person view, they were the same color as mine, for the first time in my life. I saw pieces of my family's religion, of stories my grandmother would read about to me when I was young. I saw thousands of people who looked like me. I met characters with names that sounded like mine, and it was all brand new to me, and I was 24 years old. When I was a kid, and I tried to think of my heroes from popular media, I would close my eyes and I would see characters from Marvel, from DC, from Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and none of them looked like me. None of them had felt the same things I had felt growing up or shared the same cultural experience. Every time I dressed up in a costume for Halloween growing up, and even now as I try to cosplay, I feel wrong trying to take on characters of other cultures and other races, but there aren't any Indian characters for me to become. There isn't anyone I can represent. I am American born and raised, but that doesn't mean that parts of me weren't shaped by who my family is and where we came from. The beliefs that my ancestors have held for tens of thousands of years back in India, and how it's created who I am. These parts of me aren't available, they aren't expressed in most of the Western media that's created, and it's not just Indians. I'm gonna stop beating around the bush. This is what I need you to do. Creators out there, people who are making films, making comic books, making TV shows, video games, whatever it is, include people of other races, ethnicities, cultures, religions, in your works. Make them the main character. Let them be shaped by who they are, where they live, but also where their families came from. Let the color of their skin not determine what kind of roles they can hold. Don't relegate your Indian character to being a gas station owner. Don't make your black character a gangster. Don't make your Chinese character great at math and a rocket scientist. Every action game to come out of Western studios in the last 30 years has featured a white male protagonist. Let the rest of us have a chance. I promise we're more than capable. Tell some stories about people that don't get stories told about them. This is your chance. Reach out to minorities, reach out to women, reach out to the LGBT community. Tell these stories. I promise you, there are hundreds of millions, billions of people around the world that want to hear them. The great chef Gusteau once said, "Not everyone can be a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere." The same is true of stories. There are billions of them out there waiting to be told. Creators, take a look around. Find the stories worth telling. I promise you they are there. They are with our minority groups. Representation is important because it tells us that who we are is valid and that our stories are worth telling.